Hello everybody, welcome to my channel or welcome back to my channel, whichever may be the case. I am Erica or Ricky Mickey Plans and I am here to plan another week because the weeks keep coming, so we keep planning. This is the week of July 21st through the 27th, taking out a few things that I'll get back to later, but this is my last full week of summer vacation. I still have some summer vacation in this next week, but this will be our first day back to work. So not a full week. This is the full week. So I'll take these things off, these pages off the planner so we can get going. I have been lately, not just this summer, but like even during the last school year, trying very hard to use up my stash of stickers. I have an embarrassing amount of stickers. If I'm not too embarrassed by it, I'll put a picture up there. But I have way too many stickers. I have enough stickers to last me until I am sick of this decorative planning thing. And I'm not getting sick of that soon, I don't think. So I have a lot. So in light of using stickers I already have, I'm going to an older book, makes sense, called Press Florals. I don't know if it's still available. It was very popular when it came out, though. And I'm going to these pink florals here. Yeah, I have too many stickers. It's quite embarrassing, actually. So I think I'm just going to be really simple. If you've been watching the last few weeks, you might be thinking you're watching kind of the same thing again. But, decorative planning doesn't have to be crazy. It can kind of be predictable. In fact, that can make planning easier if you know what to expect to see when you open up your planner. So sometimes I like to go really creative and find the newest, craziest things I can think of to do. And sometimes I want to rest in, the simplicity of knowing what to expect to see. So I'm just taking these stickers and I kind of started with the big one down here. And I'm going to take a big one at the top as well. I'm going to spin it a little differently so it doesn't look exactly the same. It is exactly the same, but if I turn it differently, maybe they won't see that as much. And then from there, I'll take smaller ones, and then I'll get some medium ones kind of in the middle, and I'm just going down this spine. This is a great space for adding decoration, especially a big block of color, because you don't write right here. And even though these creep over into the boxes that you write in, they don't go that far. They don't go that far. So, I think this is an excellent opportunity for getting color into the planners. I advocate for doing this in the planner, if that makes sense. And let's see. Can I fit one more of these in here? I'm not sure that I can. Not in a way without covering one. Do I want to cover one? I don't know that I do. There happen to be, not there, but here, some even smaller ones. So I could just do that. And see, even the smaller one's pretty big. Let's try you. All right, I'm going to flip you around because it's the same image as this. And I'm going to do this so that it doesn't scream out that it's the same image. And now if it overlaps a little bit, it's not by much. Yeah, that works. Ta-da! All right, that is my basic inspiration. The other thing I wanted to do is use a book that I did buy recently. You wouldn't know it, though. It's about a year or two old, this book is. But I bought it recently. I know, I'm admitting it. But I was looking through it. The pinks match these florals pretty closely. And then there was this one sticker that when I saw it, it just kind of punched me in the gut. Do you know what I mean? Like you need to be thinking about this is what happened when I read it. And it's nothing amazing. It just says, this is my one and only amazing, precious wildlife. And when something punches you in the gut like that, I think you should go with it. And so this is going to be my inspiration sticker. It's not pink, but I do believe that it goes with the insides of these these florals very nicely. So that's really all I'd thought of ahead of time. Everything else I do now is making it up on the spot here with you. So we'll see what happens. My general way to decorate my planner is I start with a big splash of color, and then I go to some functional stuff, and then I come back and decorate more. So I think I'm going to do that just like I normally do. As you can see, for functionality, I plan with Post-its. That's all these guys are, nothing fancy. I also like to plan with icons, and I keep them in a really fancy plastic bag. But icons are great because they're decorative, they're pictures, but they're functional because they mean something. So I like the icons. So I'm going to start. I know if you've been watching my channel before, you're like, I know where you're going to start. You're going to start with trash night. I am, because that's on Monday night, and Monday is the first night of the week on my planner, and it just makes sense, right? When you do the trash, you also need to clean out the kitty litter. Should clean out the kitty litter other days, but definitely then. Ooh, and I'm using up a sticker sheet. Hallelujah. Trash night for my family is also shot night for a family member. Us take a shot once a week. And so I put a little syringe there to remember that. And then the glory of the Post-its is I can move this Post-it to next Monday. And then next Monday, I barely have to think about it like I barely had to think about it today. So there you go. This Post-it is for choir, but it's not happening because we're on a summer vacation. Okay, so let's get back into what I'm doing here. I'm not going to go to my next Post-it yet. I am, however, going to go back to my pile of icons. In my pile of icons, I have these little televisions. These are for my daughter's work schedule. You might have seen them on this little inserty thing when I first opened my planner. Normally, I don't know my daughter's work schedule ahead of time. So I just take a few of these stickers, stick them on this. This is an old sticker sheet from a book. I just cut it up once I've, emptied the page of stickers. And then I keep it in here. And then when I find out her work schedule, I can just take a TV off and put it where, on the day she's working. She works at the local PBS station, so that's why it's a TV. However, I do happen to know, all that talking for no reason, she's not working this next week. She's off the whole week, so it's summer break for her. However, my son also has a work schedule. Now, I have spoken about this before. I do not need to put, honestly, either of my children's work schedules in my planner. My children are adults, but since they live at home, I like to just kind of know where they are. Now, my son's work schedule is simple. He works 40 hours a week, so he works every day, and it's the same time every day, and that's pretty simple. But since I usually put my daughter's schedule in here, I've grown accustomed to putting my son's schedule in here. Normally just kind of to equalize life, so that he's not like, oh, she gets to be in your planner, but I don't. He would never do that, but I would worry that he would think it. I know he wouldn't, but. And so even though she's not in my planner this week, I'm still putting it out of habit. So there you go. A lot of talking. By the way, he's a chemist, and hence the little flasks. Church is on Sunday morning, so I will take this Post-it off and I'll move it to next week, which my planner is off to the side of my desk. I already told you choir is not happening, so I won't use this icon. Soccer. My son plays in a community league on Thursday evenings. And again, I don't put this in here because I'm like keeping track of him or anything like that, or reminding him, hey, don't forget you have soccer. It's not like that. It's more just so that I can remember where he's at. And then he is also the coach of the local high school soccer team. And so I will put those practices with these little bitty soccer balls. And I want to put it right after his work schedule because basically comes home from work, changes into his, athletic clothes, and then goes to soccer practice. So they're back to back in his life. So they'll be back to back on my planner. Next. All right, I was thinking about this. This is not happening on this day next week. This is happening on Monday night. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to scooch all this down. I don't know why I had it up that high anyway. I think I was saving space. That's stuck. I was saving space in case I wanted to decorate right here. But let's let the functionality be the most important part. And then we'll decorate around it because that's the right way to do it anyway, in my opinion. So I'm going to scooch all this down where it really truly belongs. And then I'll have room to move my husband's game night to Monday night. So all that is down there. It's the last thing I do before bed anyway, so it makes sense to have it at the bottom. So this is a game night my husband usually plays on Thursdays. But this week, he is not doing that. He's playing it on Monday. So I'm going to take this little cute little 20-sided die and put it here for his Monday night game. And I will take the Post-it and I'll move it to next week for Thursday, since that's when it normally is, and just leave it there. I don't know if we'll do a game night this night or not, but I have a feeling, just a gut feeling, it won't happen. And I'll tell you why I have that gut feeling in a second. First, I'm going to put down a few little paw prints because my doggie is in doggy school and it has been going really well. Like, I didn't think it was going that well. I was kind of like, yeah, whatever, it's fine. But then she came home while I was out talking to my neighbor across the street who knows us really well. My daughter brought the dog home while we were out talking in the street. And so then the dog and my daughter approached the two of us. And my neighbor was like, oh my goodness, she's acting so much better. So that let me know, that kind of like outside viewpoint, that she's doing better. So happy about doggy school. No concerts this week, so I don't need this. Nobody's traveling. And that brings me to my habit trackers. There's still some more stuff to go in here, though, so I think I'm going to come back to my habit trackers and do this. Oh, I know. I did want to put a music note here. This is my daughter's musical rehearsal. Usually I use music notes for concerts, but it's, summer, so I don't have as many concerts, so I'm just going to use it for her rehearsals. Move that to next week. She's in a community theater production. I couldn't think of the word. All right. Few other things that are happening this week. A big one, a big one is on Thursday. On Thursday, and this is why I know there won't be a game night on Friday, my husband is having a procedure done. It is a surgery. It's not a major surgery, but it's a surgery. And I forgot what I was looking for while I was sitting here talking to you about it. But I need to put a box for that. Feeling this one? All right. So I'm going to use this for my husband's procedure on Thursday. Kind of a big deal. All right, so I'm going to sneak it a little bit on this side just to draw some attention to it. And that is for my husband's procedure. Okay. Another thing is he had to have some blood work done for that procedure. And so I don't need to use a box for that. I could use highlighter. You'll see in a minute what I mean by highlighter. But I think since I have a box and it kind of matches, I'm going to use this one that says remember. I could cut off the remember though. Kind of think I will. There's nothing wrong with the remember. And it is something we have to remember. But I just prefer a plain looking box. So, so then I'm going to take this and put this here. And that will be for him to get some blood work to prepare for said procedure. And honestly, I think that's the big stuff. I will have a Zoom meeting sometime this week, but it hasn't been scheduled yet. That will be with my student teacher. I'm going to have a student teacher this year again. It's been a few years since I had one. So I have to meet with her and make sure that we're on the same page about things. I've never had a student teacher in the fall semester, like the beginning semester. I've had several student teachers in the spring, many, but never in the fall. And if you're a teacher, you might understand what I'm about to be talking about, but I'm a little nervous about having one in the fall because I like to have, the beginning of the year to really establish my classroom and my classroom climate, classroom expectations, that kind of thing. And I have to with having a student teacher, you have to hand over your classroom to somebody else. And I'm nervous about doing that so early in the school year. But people have had student teachers in the fall before, and things haven't, it wasn't a disaster. So I'm sure I can do it. I'm just a little nervous about it, I must admit. So what I'm doing here, if you're like, what is she doing? Is I am making a little bed of some decorative texture to add my habit trackers that we talked about a little bit ago onto here. That whole student teacher thing was to say that I have a Zoom meeting with her sometime. So sorry for the distraction. So I like to have a little bed of something decorative to put my habit trackers on, just to bring some emphasis. And this might be a little bit too much emphasis. I'm not really an animal print person. I'm pretty simple, and this is but I'm going with it. Okay, so that is for my habit trackers, and I'll come back to those in a little bit. And then the last thing is these, and I'll come back to those too. Why do I keep saying I'll come back to them? I could just do them. Let's just do them. Let's not come back to them. So let's do habit trackers. So grab my pen, or I could use a pink pen. Let's use a pink pen. All right. So my habit trackers, I like to have one for did I walk 10,000 steps? The answer is not very often. Another for did I read today? I've been getting better at that one. And another for have I worked on my little side hustle that I would like to get started, which is flipping furniture. And the answer is no, I have not, because it's been sweaty out in the garage. And I just wrote on my thumb. It's been sweaty out in the garage, so I've not been doing it, but I'm hoping to. Although they're saying this is going to be the hottest, most humid week of the summer so far. So that may not happen, but it's there. Okay. So that was me coming back to that. And now the other thing I said I was going to come back to were these. So let me get my planner. When I took this out, you saw the back of this, but you didn't see this. This has been my to-do list system this summer. I've done it as a 3-tiered to-do list: things I need to do, things I ought to do, and things I want to do. These are the things I have to get done this week. Really have to. These are things that I need to get doing, but it's not urgent. And then these are things that if I'm just sitting around and I'm like, I want some me time, these are the things I want to do. And so this has been a fun system. These two, I backed in a very neutral color palette so that I can move it to every week. So it was in last week's, and now it'll sit in this week's, the same color. But this one, I like to match my spread. So let me get a paper. I never grab just one. I always seem to grab two. I don't know why. So this is just some filler paper from Levenger. It's approximately, obviously, a third of a sheet of, the size of it is like a third of the sheet of the Happy Planner page. I don't like it to go all the way from top to bottom, so I just kind of cut it a little bit shorter here. And I'm just cutting it to match last week's to make it easy. And then what I do is I take some washi that matches my spread. I've had this washi for years. I have no idea where it came from, but it matches the pink flower very nicely. And so then I take this and just give, sorry, I couldn't hear that, a bit of color to the edge of the page. Plus, then it's very clear that it's its own page, to encourage me to turn the page. If it's just a white edge, it kind of blends with the planner, and I may not realize. I mean, I'll realize because it's mine, but I just want to make it clear this is something different. And then I had originally made stickers with all 3 of my phrases: need to, ought to, want to. But then I was like, I don't need these as much because I'm using them over and over again. So I made a sheet that was all need tos. So we'll take a need to sticker and stick them right here. By the way, need, N-O-W, need, ought, want, spells now. It's a cute little thing, right? And so now this, we'll go back to last week. And this will sit in front of this and sit in my planner for this week. So, ta-da! So now there's nothing else to come back to. That is, and these I don't use right now. That is it for my icons. So there we go. All right, so I did my big splash of color. I did my functional stuff. It's not quite finished though, because I do need to highlight. And I found my pink highlighter. Darling daughter, if you are watching, I broke into your bedroom. And I found my pink highlighters. However, I took that little scrap from cutting off of this and tested out my highlighters. And this pink is, you see that? It is neon. I want it to look like the cap, but it doesn't. So my daughter likes pink a lot, and I couldn't find my pink highlighters for a while. And so I broke into her room this morning and found my pink highlighters, but now I don't really want it. It's not good. So I think I'm going to go with this color. That's this highlighter. And there's also the dark brown. Which would you do? Let's put it up here by these grayish stickers. I think the light one. I don't know. It could go either way. It's not a big deal. So I'm going to go with the light because either one could happen, right? And if I add in more pink flowers, I think a lot of this beige highlighter will actually work. So I'm going to add 2 lines of text for dropping off my dog at school, doggy school, training. Oh, that was a bad line. Look at that line. Don't like that. And I like to highlight first because it can smear the ink. So for church, I always do 2 lines of text in case there's something else we have to do. I'll do 1 line of text for my son's work schedule. I am not having much highlighting luck today. That's because I'm not going slowly. I'm just kind of speeding through. This will be for my daughter's musical rehearsal. This will be for high school practice. I think I'll just use 1 line of text because I can just write high school and the time. And they don't practice on Fridays. This will be for his community league game. This will be for my husband's game night. I don't need highlighter for that. Okay, that's a good chunk of highlighter. Everything lines up so perfectly. Like, it's because it happens at the same time every day. You know what I mean? Like, it makes sense. I don't know. All right. So here was what I was thinking. I could add some more of these florals. Just go around the edges and stuff. So let's do this. We're just going to plunk some florals around the edges here. Like, I don't have a plan. I'm just plunking. All right, I want to get a look at this and see if I like it with everything cut off. I'm going to cut off all of these little edges here. And so I'm going to just, while I'm at it and in the cutting mood, let's just go ahead and cut up the center. cut that spine apart and see what we've got. I was wanting to see it like this to see if it felt off balance, and it does. It's a little heavy on the left because I don't have anything on the right, but I don't know that filling in florals on the right will change that. I mean, I have a ton left, so I mean, there's nothing against filling it up on the left. In fact, I could just take these scraps that I was cutting off, and then it wouldn't take up any, like practically no functional space at all, because these are tiny little scraps. Is that a good thing that I just did? I don't know. I mean, do I take them along the top now? Do I just go with it? That's what I did last week. I just took florals along the top. I didn't have them on the spine, but I mean, I can. What do you think? Vote for me. You're not voting. That's because this is not live. That means I have to think about it. I have to decide. I think I'm going to change my mind a little bit. I think I need this animal print to be somewhere else on the page. Or it's just kind of over there doing nothing by itself. So now that I did all of this, I think I'm going to pull them up. And I'm going to do some animal print over here. Again, I'm not really an animal print kind of gal. But, I mean, I've already used it, so let's just go with it. And it doesn't hurt, because again, it's just for fun. This is just my planner. So let's take some animal print and just kind of go like so along the edge here. And then I could just make this work. I can use more of this. Even though this is a straight edge, I can easily, I think, cut a little, man, I can't get my scissors in there. Oh, I cut the page. I hate that. I think I can cut like a little, you know how this is like scalloped, sort of, not scalloped, but more of an organic edge than just a straight line. Where I cut the page, I got paper on it. But I think I can do that with this still. So I'm just going to kind of cut around in the way that it would have been if it was smaller in the first place. No rhyme, no reason, just kind of cutting through. Okay. And so then I can take this. I don't even need the whole thing, do I? Take this here. And then I can cut like this. Oh, I didn't do a good job of that. I'll fix that. And then I can take this here. And then cut again. I think I'll use my X-Acto knife. So I'm going to cut like around where the floral is there. I'm going to cut you. That sounds so violent. I'm going to cut you. And I'm going to cut this. Like so. Ta-da! Then I'm going to come down here, and where I kind of did not do a good job of cutting there, I'm just going to cut off those little black schmutzy pieces. Yeah, I like having some more of that animal print on there. That's a good thing. Should I do even more? I mean, I have more. I even have the other bit that I cut off of that. Should I do animal print along the top? Along the tippity top? This might be a bit much, but again, I'm not an animal print person, so saving this is... Why did I buy Wild Style book if I'm not an animal print person? I'm not really sure, but I think I just like the colors. So I'm just not. But this is kind of cute. This is not bad. And I even have some more pink. They have some of this with the tan too. I mean, I could use that, but I think I've been using pink all along, so I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to add a little bit more. Yeah, let's do that. Right, this is working. This is a very easy pattern to kind of manipulate and make it how you want it to be. So that's kind of nice, actually. Like, you can just cut around these little leopard or whatever whatever animal they are spots very nicely and easily. Okay, it's different. It's very different, but I need it. Should I stick a little down in here? I don't know. Like, I could just take a few and sprinkle them around, right? Like, I don't know. Since I'm not an animal print person, I don't really know what looks good and what doesn't in animal print land, but I feel like sticking a few in here wouldn't hurt anything, right? So if you were watching last week, I asked you how you felt about people doing videos like this without sleeves on, if it, was like too exposing to not have sleeves on, or long sleeves, I guess. And the few people who replied were like, no, who cares? Take your jacket off. You don't need to wear sleeves. And I considered not wearing long sleeves today, except my cat went banshee on me. And in the middle of the night, one night this week, she just went to town on my arm. I don't know what happened. She must have had a bad dream or something. But she just chewed my arm up, clawed my arm up. And so I thought, you know what? Wounds are not attractive on a video. So I'm back to sleeves, even though many of you totally excused me from wearing long sleeves. And they're not horrible wounds. Like, I'm exaggerating a little bit. It's not that bad, but she did get me. It woke me up, and of course it woke me up. She went and clawing on me, but it was a bit much. I was like, whoa. She must have just had a bad dream. It was crazy. Just attacked my poor little arm. The arm she was cuddling, by the way. She was snuggling it. So, she wanted to be there. Like, she kind of sleeps in the crook of my arm, She changed her mind. All right. I'm done playing with that. Done with that. Okay. I'm truly, honestly, not much more needs to be done here. I think anything else I'm going to do now is just kind of for fun. Like, I'd like another quote, I think, down for the right-hand corner. These are cute. You are an original. I like the pink splatter, too. Well, that's kind of fun, actually. Ooh, that's kind of fun. Ooh, I'm glad I picked that. Okay. So let's do that. Is there anything else I like it? Does it look fair? Do we care? That was a rhyme. Inhale the future, exhale the past. Let's put it here. Ooh, I like that. Okay. This is good. This is good. All right. I think I'm going to call this mostly finished. The only other thing I'm going to do is add a floral to my to-do list just to let it tie in with everything. So let's get this guy here. We'll just put him down in the corner here because he's cute. And so, yeah, I'm really, truly, for all intents and purposes, finished. So thank you so much for watching. As I always say, my little spiel, if you like what you saw, please give my channel a thumbs up. And if you want to see more of it, or if you are inspired by it, or if you just want to be kind to me, you could give my channel a subscribe. That would be fantastic. But mostly, I hope you are having a great summer if you are a summer celebrator. And I hope you have a great week. Stay safe, stay healthy, and have happy planning. Bye-bye.